So you want to be heard. Don't we all just want to be heard? A lot of times, reflecting back on different points of my life and even writing a book as of recently, I started reflecting on my father and the advice that he always gave me. And it's funny because I never took his advice and went 100% all in. I always filtered his advice and took bits and pieces that I wanted and applied that to my life. And when you're talking about going out and having that personal growth, it definitely takes yourself, right? Your experiences, your knowledge base, right? And knowing how to apply things to your life. Like you don't want to be told what to do. And the best way to learn anything in life is by putting yourself in that situation and doing it, right? You can get all the advice in the world. Again, you won't take advice, right? You'll take bits and pieces and apply it to your life, because ultimately we want to be heard. We want to live our own lives. And even for myself, coming on here, it's hard to I don't give advice in that fashion. I just try to help you uncover your own internal tools that will help you uncover the answers that you are looking for. It's ultimately what I'm aiming for, in realizing that you just really want to be heard, right? You really want to be able to tell your own story, as opposed to someone telling you what to do. That's not at all what I do on here. What I try to do is give advice, give perspective, because I think perspective can help you decipher how you can go about changing your life and realizing that, yes, your story matters, right? I listen, right, to what you're saying, listen to how you're going to go out and make the changes that you want in life, right? Ignite change that you want into your life. And to be able to do that, you have to do it yourself, right? You have to be able to come at life in the way that you want to. Because we want to share our stories, and a lot of times we feel like we get judged, and so we don't share the stories, but we seek that. We desire someone to just genuinely listen to us. And when I was thinking about my father, and I talk a lot of different aspects about how he, right, it always felt like home when I would go visit my father, because of the fact that, he genuinely listened to everything that came out of my mouth. He genuinely cared about everything that happened to me. And you can definitely tell that in a person, right? If they genuinely care, you can feel that from another person, right? There are times when you may not at all feel that, right? Because a lot of people think about what they're going to say next, think about how different things are going to affect themselves. And so we want someone to be able to hear us. We want us to hold value, right? We want our voice to hold value, hold weight. And to be able to do that and to be able to create our own story, right? We just want someone to listen, right? And understand that to do this, we have to go out, right? We have to improve ourselves in a way, decipher, use whatever tools that we can to help us get past that, right? Because a lot of times we, again, fear judgment of others if we want to be heard. And this is what stops us a lot of different times, right? And I talk about fear and overcoming fear and pushing boundaries because of this fact, right? I'm not trying to sit here and tell you this is what you should do. This is what's going to help you uncover, decipher what helps you get to that point so you can be heard. And what I've done, so I can be heard, right? So, and what value I try to bring, right? Now, it may not mean anything to you, right? It might just be advice. You might just blow over your head, and it's whatever, right? You may not apply it to life, or maybe you have experiences where that doesn't see fit, right? It doesn't fit into your lifestyle, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is we all want to be heard, right? We don't want to be told what to do. And I 110% agree with that, and agree with the fact that you should want to live your own life, right? We've always rebelled against people or things that try to tell us what we should be doing. And it's just an idea and a thought that has really come up for me over the past couple of days on how we do that, right? And how you can get your voice heard, right? And live and create your own life. And again, to be able to do that, there are other things you have to do to be able to be heard, because that's ultimately what we want, right? We feel like we have value. When I talk about purpose and everything, when you're seeking purpose, you feel like you have value, that you are contributing in some way, shape, or form in life. And so you want to, again, feel like your voice has value. And when you don't have that, right, it's hard to want to listen. It's hard to want to make change when you feel like you don't have these things in your life. And these tools and stuff and ideas and perspectives that I give and the stories that I tell about my life, it's to help you see that, right? It's not to tell you this is what you should do. I'm just, again, expanding on tools, different tools that I've used to help me get there so your voice can be heard, because that's what matters, right? That's what brings us value. And a lot of times we place our value in other things that really shouldn't matter, right? We place our value in the material things that we hold or in the relationships that we have, as opposed to realizing that we all do have value, and realizing that you just have to push a little bit to get your voice out there, right? To feel like you have value. If you're in this point in your life where you feel like, you just want someone to listen to you, because that's what matters. Again, we want to feel like we have purpose, and people are willing to listen to us, and rightfully so, right? We all have a story to tell, and you should be able to express that however you want to express that, right? Maybe you're not a person that's very expressive. Maybe you have other means of doing it, but ultimately understand that we are all just looking for someone to really listen, to really pay attention to what we have to say, and be genuinely interested and genuinely enjoy what we're talking about, right? And our hopes and our goals and our dreams with somebody else, because that's what matters. And when you try to express those things and people aren't really paying attention, right? Or try to forcefully put something on you in the way you should be living your life, right? Then you start to go against that, right? You start to rebel against that stuff, because you want to feel like you have choice, and you do have choice. You have choices every day that you can make to improve your life in which way you see fit. So go out there and make the choices. Go out there and have a voice, and know that your voice matters, right? Maybe you don't have someone directly there. Like, I don't have my father anymore, right? My father was one of the very few people that I could go to that I feel like someone generally listened to on everything that I said, and every word that I said mattered to them. And he was that, right? It felt like just being at home, being with him, right? You talk about being at home, feeling at home. It was just talking with my father and realizing that, hey, this is where home is, right? Someone that genuinely listens to you, that really cares about what you're talking about, and not so worried or preoccupied with everything else that is going on in their lives. Yes, they want to share and everything like that. It's not saying that you just overtake the conversation, make it one-way conversation, but be genuinely interested in what they're saying. And this is something that can go back to a lot of different other things I've talked about this on this channel, about how to be a good communicator. You have to be a good listener. And so, rightfully so, you should in turn do the same. If you want to be heard, you should also hear others, right? I think it goes both ways, right? It's like the door swings both ways. It shouldn't just be one-sided. It should be more so that you are in it to not only express your voice and be heard, right? Because we desire that. You should also allow people to be heard and desire that, right? It's a one-for-one trade-off. Some people aren't always going to give you that, but ultimately understand that in the end, what you give is what you'll receive back, right? But you shouldn't go in with the expectation that you're going to always receive back, because you'll be, at this point, I think you could be sadly misunderstood sometimes. And sometimes people won't want to listen, right? They'll be too preoccupied. So you have to be okay with that. So your expectation shouldn't be well, I give and then I'll receive from that same person. Sometimes you receive more from other people, whatever the case is. But you have to understand that you have to, again, give to be able to receive. And so if this video has helped you out, remember to hit the like button on the way out. Till next time, guys, I will see you guys later.